rose to fight for right and freedom and to keep our honor.
On this episode of Cigars and Sea Stories, Bennett and Mike are sitting down to discuss, and later on we're going to have Sebastian call in, hopefully, we'll see what happens. Sitting down to discuss weird things that happen on Liberty or Leave, where you're like, oh shit, I'm going to show up on the blotter, now I've got to go tell First Sergeant.
The blotter shit's going to happen. Shit's going to go down. None of it's going to be good.
Like, damn it.
Or it could be good if it's funny enough.
Right.
Because there's times, you get that shit that goes down and the first sergeant just looks at you and shakes his fucking head. And he's like, get the fuck out of my sight. And as soon as you leave, him and the company gunny, or him and the commander are fucking laughing their asses off.
Oh, yeah.
There's always that. At least if you have a first sergeant that's got a halfway decent sense of humor. But that doesn't happen all the time either.
So it does not. You want to hear mine?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first missus left during the summer of 08, and I go home. There was like a whole bunch of shit that happened in between then and this time frame, which is Christmas 2008. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Don't give a shit. Going home, gonna enjoy it, gonna see my friends. Hopefully shit works out, but this is what I'm gonna do. So, my dad, my brother, and I, we go to Joe Louis Arena. We're having a couple of beers. We wind up going back home after the game, and then I just go over to the bar straight away. And we're drinking over at the bar, of course. Getting, tying one on. And, so, I'm like, whatever. The McDonald's is literally across the parking lot, and there's 2 feet of snow that's out. So any other night, if it was the middle of the summertime, you just walked over to McDonald's. But because there's so much snow on the ground, we decided to drive across the parking lot. Totally fine, don't hit anybody, not a big deal. So we're in McDonald's parking lot. The guy in the back seat starts freaking out. And I have no idea why, still to this day, but he jumped out of the vehicle and took off running. And then when he did so, I went out onto the road, came back in, and then into the other parking lot and picked him up. Oh, here's Sebastian. What's up? Keep your mouth shut.
Hey.
I'm in the middle of the story. Hold on. All right, so anyhow, we picked this dude up in a snowy parking lot, and we're like, what the hell, man? Are you okay? Are you cool? What's up? Michigan State Trooper, whoop whoop, comes rolling into the parking lot. Driving a little crazy, aren't you? And I'm in park. The car is not running at this point. We'd been here for a little bit. And I'm like, no. So he comes up, I had to put the keys into the ignition to turn it on to roll the window down. And I had no idea how this guy saw an exchange or whatever it was. I don't know. So then he's like, get out of the vehicle. We do the whole sobriety thing. He actually fell down while he was doing the field sobriety test. I go to jail that night. And so it's Christmas Eve, and I'm in jail. Which is just fantastic. Let me tell you what. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of half guilty on this one. But there's no way that this dude saw me. The keys were out of the ignition, right? So this is rattling around in my brain, blah, blah, blah. So I get let out of the clink the next day. Turns out it's one of those things, go through the whole rigmarole. It eventually gets dropped. It's not a big deal. But I got to tell First Sergeant. I know for a fact that this is going to come up. Even if it's that far away, you have a service member who just got ran through the system. Or at least I think that's what happened. So this is, I have to tell these guys. You know what I mean? Dude. That was the worst. Because, I was out of jail literally on Christmas Eve. I was out of jail. I was like, this is bogus. What the hell? Whatever. And, oh, dude, I had to sweat it all the way through New Year's and everything else, come off leave. And I'm standing tall in front of the man. I explained my first sergeant everything that happened, and he honestly, this is the weirdest thing. I don't think that he could fully compute or understand really what had occurred. And he was like, if you get fucked on this, I'm going to NJP the fuck out of you. And that's all that he said. And then I walked out of his office. But to get picked up and go to jail on Christmas Eve and then have to tell your first sergeant, that was a pretty fucking terrifying moment. So, I don't know if you guys got anything similar. Sebastian, welcome to Cigars and Sea Stories. How's it going, man? We're recording.
Yes. Good to be back. I have nothing on that front.
Bullshit. You never came off Liberty like, this shit happened?
So I had this one story. I went to a friend of mine had a birthday, and she had it down at some sort of fucking like the branding iron type place, but not the branding iron. And I'd gone down there and had like a Jaeger bomb early on, and then 2 beers and a shot. And then about 4 hours later, I was like, all right, I'm going to drive home. And this was out in, North Orange County somewhere. And so I was like, I got another 2.5 hours before I get to base. So I was like, okay, so I will be just fine then. And I won't even have to sweat it. And this is where, unbeknownst to me, like it turned from 0.08 to like 0. This is right about that time where they went from like regular people rules to no, we're on crazy tolerance. Like, so I get to the gate and the guy just smells it on my clothes and like in my body. And I was like, well, I came from this party. I was at this place and blah, blah, blah. And this is how much I drank, but it was at this time. And it's been, 6 hours since then. And he's still got to pull you over and do the whatever. So he pulls me over and he gives me this test and everything. He's like, the fact that I can smell it like on you, which is bullshit because I probably just spilled some on myself or something. But he's like, that means that it's still in your system. And right now we're on this. And so I could fuck you. But I'm just doing this as fucking, like, I'm a short timer and I'm from 3-7 Lima Company. So there you go.
Oh, no.
Holy shit.
And so I go up and I was like, okay, thank you, Corporal. And he's like, I was like,
God.
so am I in trouble? And he said something that sounded like you'll probably hear it from your corporal tomorrow or something like that. So I was like, okay, so did he process me? Did he not process? Like, I had no idea what happened. So I still went to my NCO and I was like, this happened, but I'm here. He didn't take me. He didn't do anything or give me any papers. And he's like, okay, well, it's probably nothing, but you're a fucking idiot. I was like, roger that, Corporal.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so that was kind of a butt pucker moment that I got out of.
I had one of those.
At the same time, like, I really don't think that I would have been if I actually got breathalyzed or like, because I would have probably raised a fit at that point and been like, all right, test me, motherfuckers.
Well,
like, I'm not going down without a fight, but it didn't come to that because he was cool.
Well, and that was like the same thing. Even though they locked me up, I didn't get a DUI. That was it. Like, they didn't get me driving down the road doing anything. They were just like, you're drunk and you might drive that car. And now you're going to go to jail. And I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, what, you're going to save me from myself? It was... So I did not get a DUI. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what the fuck? See, that's the thing. That's the other thing that PMO will do, is they'll just lock your ass up and not charge you with anything, quote unquote, saving you from yourself.
Well, luckily,
and then you still get in trouble because somebody hears about it.
Yes.
Right.
Luckily, so it's like I didn't even get in trouble, but I got in trouble for looking like I got in trouble, but I didn't actually. It's like, motherfucker! Ah!
I got arrested for resisting arrest.
Right.
Right.
Right. So the story that I've got that's, well, one of the stories I should say, that's kind of like this is, all right, so this was actually on Camp Lejeune. Well, off Camp Lejeune coming on to Camp Lejeune. Now, Camp Lejeune at that time, I have no idea about now, but it's probably similar. So they had 3 gates. You know, they had the main gate, they had a Sneed's Ferry gate, and then a Swansboro gate. Well, this is the Sneed's Ferry gate, which is the farthest southern gate that heads right out to the beach communities, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I had, now at this point, I was not, this was near the end of me getting out. So I actually wasn't at recon. I was fapped out to the FAP. I was fapped to the pool, the Area 2 pool.
Long hair don't care.
Being a fucking lifeguard and all that other fun shit. But, you know, we still had to go to the range and qualify games, right?
Right.
But it was such a clusterfuck that you had like the vehicle that took the ammo, right?
Yeah.
And I've told part of this story before. We had the Hummer that carried the ammo from the, you know, what the fuck did they call that goddamn place? Either way,
APC.
yeah, APC, ACP,
ASP, Ammo
ASP.
Supply Point.
Right. So from the ASP to the range, right? And we would go out and we would do all the shit. Well, for some reason, they had given us a crate of shit that just had nothing to do. There was like artillery simulators and all kinds of other shit. And I think what it was is it was near the end. This was the late summer. So we're trying to get rid of all the ammo for the year. You know what I mean? So we can get more when the new budget comes. That kind of game. But it's nothing ammo, of course, because the ammo that we actually use to train, we hardly have any of that. But we have all this other bullshit that they need to blow off. So we got like artillery simulators and a bunch of other stuff. Now, artillery simulators are fucking badass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm talking about the ones with the internal tripwire that spools out from that. You like nail it to a tree. It's not like the little gay ones.
Right. It's like a trip flare.
Like, this is like a trip flare, but it's an artillery. You know, it's like a quarter stick of dynamite, right?
Right.
So we were in such a rush because this was on a Friday. We're in like such a rush to get the fuck off the range because it's me. Like the guy in charge out there was a corporal, I think. And we're all like, let's get the fuck out of here. We got shit to do, right? Mm-hmm. So I had a truck and a couple other guys had trucks. So we ended up like throwing the excess shit that we were like, do we really want to return this to the ASP? You know what I mean?
Right.
They're basically like, don't turn this back into us. Right? We don't
like make it be
non-existent. Like,
no longer here.
Like this doesn't exist. So I had like 3 or 4 smoke grenades and some artillery simulators.
Yep.
And I put them inside an ammo can and put them in the back of my truck. Now I did have every intention on taking this back to our unit and we were just going to play with it later. Well, that fucking ammo can never left my truck.
No.
So anyway,
you're not a staff NCO and you're driving around with fucking ordnance in your truck.
Yeah, I was a Lance Cooley.
Not for long, motherfucker.
Right. So I go, this is like, it's like a week later. I never used the back of my truck, very rarely, you know?
Right.
So, and I had a camper shell on it and the whole thing. So it's like a week later. It's probably 3 a.m. I'm coming back on base through the Sneed's Ferry gate, and I wasn't drunk, but I had been at the strip club, and you know, me and a couple buddies had hung out, and we had done the rounds around the beach bars down in Surf City, Topsail, and then ended up at that time it was Silver and Gold, out the Sneed's Ferry gate. Well, coming back in, and he smelt alcohol, the guy, Now,
PMO.
see, luckily, it was not MPs. It
Right, it was
was,
PMO.
it was the fapped out infantry that
Yeah,
were
PMO.
PMO. Yes, whatever. They weren't. So he was not.
Who is shuffling in the background over there? Somebody like getting dressed?
One of my kin. One of my dogs.
Is somebody like sneaking in the background? Like, can they hear me?
Tried to.
Can they hear me?
She's not the lightest thing on her feet.
No.
She had to get some tape or something. Hey, they got school supplies today, and they're all excited. So anyway,
Aww.
Daddy took them to get school supplies.
That's so wonderful.
So
we lead normal lives.
PMO, 2 guys, Sneed's Ferry Gate, 3 a.m, and they're like, "Yeah, we need to like pull." So they had me pull over. One guy came over. They gave me a sobriety test. It was fine. I totally passed. Blah blah blah.
Right.
But the other guys, they're like, "Can we look in your vehicle?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." And then,
oh no,
Nope.
I hear the one guy say the other guy's name, and he's like, "Wait here for a second, sir."
Oh no.
And I look back and I see the ammo cans on the deck, and I go, "Oh my God, I'm so fucked." My mind starts racing, freaking the fuck out. Da, 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 da. So I'm like, "What the fuck am I gonna do?" So he comes up and he's ready to fucking throw it down, like handcuff me, the whole thing. And I said, "Listen," and it was a corporal. I'm like, "Listen, corporal, let me explain this whole situation, what's going on with that freaking ammo can,
Right.
And he actually heard me out. And I told him the whole story. I said, "Please," I'm ETSing in freaking a month. I said, "I promise you that I will freaking take that straight back to the unit, put it in the supply." He's like, "It's ordnance, man." I'm like begging. I'm like literally like,
you're like, dude, and he's feeling it too. He's like, "God damn,
damn it, shit." And luckily, this is the time before like cameras and all, this is like 1996, right?
Right.
So luckily,
it's old school."
Yeah, before we had like all the shit, right?
Right.
So finally, he looks at the other guy is a lance corporal. Looks at the corporal and shrugs. He goes, "Huh?" And the corporal's like, "Get the fuck out of here." I almost pissed myself.
Oh my God.
I must have jizzed in my pants. I swear to God, dude. I don't know how the fuck it happened, but you know what? Here's the funny part. I did. I took it right back.
Yeah.
Thank God. But the funny part is when I was trying to get it back in there, I got caught by the company gunny.
No.
You're like, "I just found this out in the hallway."
Happened to be just as cool. Thank God. But I'm pretty sure the company gunny took it home with him and
Oh my God.
blew that
He's
shit.
like, "Yep, I'm taking this shit."
I'm taking this shit and it's going to my backyard. But-
Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
He could have at least like made a barbecue out of it, like bring a couple of guys over, like
Right. Had like a fireworks.
yeah,
Ooh.
fuck it,
Oh,
team
man.
building. Thanks, Gunny. Fuck.
Gunny's like, "What the fuck is that, Tanton?" I go, I actually did the nothing to see here, Gunny. I said that. And he's like, "Oh, fuck no." At that point, I was already running. Because we had the coolest company gunny in the world.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. He was retiring and like fucking, he had gotten passed over for first sergeant for the last fucking
He's
time.
trying to run like a rabbit.
Nothing to see here. Took off.
He sees a dog as a rabbit, just like, "Oh fuck."
My squad leader at the time was down in the supply room, and I like threw the fucking can at him and said, "I'm fucking out of here. Gunny's on his way down." And he's like, "Don't you fucking dare do that." I was like, so then I ended up telling him the whole story.
Oh
That's
my
fucking
Like,
God.
it's
hilarious.
one of those times I said when the first sergeant he looked at you and go, "Get the fuck out of here." So I did.
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
but you know what? It's one of those things like where the truth will set you free.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it did. Because people are like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, "As a heart attack," and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here, you fucking dumbass."
Oh
Nothing to
my
see here.
I
God.
think it's here, Gunny, and I ran,
Oh my God.
which was a big joke forever. And actually, I'm still friends with the team leader or the squad leader at the time, and he'll like write, nothing to see here, Tanton.
Now
Now,
get him on. Get him on to tell the story from his perspective.
oh,
I'd like to hear about
This
Bandit
fucking,
Tanton from the third person here.
oh yeah, I think we have to. Actually, I could probably make that happen. But it's
Yeah.
one of those things like you wish, like hindsight's 2020, and you wish that you could have looked back and gone that if Star Wars were as popular at that point, you know what I mean?
right.
Like if I hadn't have watched it so long ago, if I would be like, these are not the droids you're looking for, Gunny, or something like that, you know? Shit. That's what I was going for, but it didn't work. Oh fuck no! And I'm already running down the fucking hallway. So, whatever.
No big
Shit happens.
My
Nothing
God.
to
Nothing
throw it
to-
at him and see Gunny's on his way.
Gunny's on his
That's
side.
perfect. He's like, no, fuck no.
Fuck no! Get back here! Fuck!
So we were out
Yeah.
in the Ville in Sangam
Dude.
one time, and we were just kind of like, "What's up?"
Well, the best would be when someone would come up with some sort of situation like that when you're like on duty or something. You're like, someone actually comes by later and you're like, not mine. That is not me. I have nothing to do with that. And you're like immediately like explaining like that was that person. He ran off that way. Nothing to do with like the dead hooker is not mine.
Nothing to
No
see here.
way. Nothing to see here. My hands are clean.
The dead hooker is not mine.
Did you
Quote
guys
of the
ever-
day.
You guys ever watch that show Reno 911
Yes, of course.
where they put the hooker, the fake dead hooker in bed with the freaking deputy?
Yeah.
Who had got him really shit faced the night before on
Yeah.
his birthday or whatever. And they're all like, fucking happy birthday or whatever. And then there's this fake dead chick next to him. And they're like, dude, what the fuck did you do? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God.
It's mortifying.
It's one of those situations. You're just like, fuck.
Oh my God. Oh, all right. Sangin.
Sangin.
We're in the bazaar. I'm like chatting to the Hawaladar, chatting with the fucking guys, whatever, walking under the thing. We got,
With the
We-
stuff.
we've got, yeah, because it's all like, you know how it is. They've got the bamboo shoots or whatever the fuck that are coming out of the wall. They're like reeds. I think it is bamboo. I don't know. But it's coming out of there, and then everything else is hanging down, you know, all their wares, blah, blah, blah. And the perimeter is pretty well established, and we knew that we were going to hold that area. We were going to allow only military traffic to pass through, and then we were just going to kind of like grab some papers, IDs, whatever, from some of the guys on mopeds. And it was, I don't like calling it routine in nature because there really isn't anything routine in combat, but it was just kind of one of those where we knew the drill. And and my buddy walks up to me and he was like, "Hey man, I just lost a radio." I'm like, "What?" Like, fuck. Okay, so like black gear, green gear, what are we talking about? Yeah, it was black gear. Kid stole it out of my pouch. He's gone. Why the fuck wasn't that thing dummy corded to your ass? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? This dude's a fellow sergeant. I'm just like, what? We'll go find that kid and kill him and his family and get that fucking radio back, because otherwise First Sergeant's going to kill us and our families when he finds out about this bullshit. And so he's like, yep, try chasing him. I have no idea where this kid is or where that fucking radio is and all of this other shit. So we were out there for an additional like 2-3 hours. Matter of fact, my spotter actually took a video. I'm going to ask him whether or not we can post that on here. He takes a video, and then fast forward 3-4 years or whatever. And we're doing Cigars and Sea Stories. And he's like, hey, man, I got this video for you. And he just kind of like drops it in the inbox. Nonchalant. This video is him on the perimeter on that day. And he's like, hey, what's up? It's so-and-so. If Sergeant Penny knew that I was taking this video right now, he would fucking cut my dick off. And it's like him fucking off on the perimeter. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's talking about guys on mopeds. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to ask him whether or not we can use the video. But we were out there for another like 2-3 hours questioning people, going through stuff. I mean, we weren't roping people up hard or anything else like
down
that.
this fucking radio.
But it was like, dude, there was no way. It was gone. We had to patrol back in, tell our gunny, which I was already like, this douchebag hates me. And then I'm like, fucking, I have no idea what's going to happen. Can we flog this dude? Like, can we just, can we rope him up and give him 40 lashes? Dude, they had to go around to everybody in the AO and just update everything crypto-wise. I mean, it was a goddamn heartache trying to get that shit all done. And, yeah, it definitely sucked being a patrol leader that day with a guy who didn't dummy cord his shit properly.
That's not on libo, though.
Yeah, that's not on libo.
Good job.
But it's one of those things where I got to walk back in going, holy shit. And the entire time you're sweating bullets.
So, another story that I might have actually told on air, but I'm going to tell it again. So, this is an Army. When I was in the Army, had been dating my wife, my now wife, for, I don't know, a month and a half, maybe. And we went to, we went out to eat, went to comedy club, freaking, that shit was funny. In this little town north of Fort Drum called Sackett's Harbor. They have an actual comedy club there. Mm-hmm. But they bring like actual like acts, like good comedians, not like, it's not like amateur night. It's fucking real comics. So we're on our way back home and where I lived in town, once you got to the center of Watertown, there's like this circle. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you keep going straight on the circle and going down State Street, there's a Wendy's up there on the left-hand side, but it's between the circle and my house, right? Or you can come into the street, the backside, by taking a right part way into the circle, right? Mm-hmm. So taking the right way is actually the fastest way to the house. So she had said something like about being hungry earlier. And I'm like, okay, do you want like to stop and get some French fries at Wendy's or whatever, And just like a typical woman can't make a fucking decision on, can't be like, it's got to be like, well, if I eat this, it's already 11. Is it going to stick, is it going to go straight to my ass or what? You know what I mean? Whatever the fuck is going through her mind. But either way, the pause is way too long. Right?
Right.
So I say, fuck it. I'll make the decision. And the decision is no. So I'm going to go. But at this point, I'm a little past the intersection. So I had to do a swerve maneuver to get there. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Next thing I know, I'm lit the fuck up. Brrr, fucking lights and the whole thing. And I pull over and I'm like, all right, what the fuck? Yeah, see? And I look at her and I go, see what happens when you don't make a decision? And so, but I'm not pissed.
Right.
Because I don't really care. I'm like, whatever. I'll just explain it. What are they going to do? Give me a ticket for? What are you going to give me a fucking ticket for? Well, they didn't even pull me over because of that. What turns out is that the cop had been behind me anyway, and he, or she, I should say, had run my plate, and it came back with my insurance not being valid. Right? Oh. So they have Fort Drum, their 10th Mountain Division,
right,
has a has an arrangement with the law enforcement in Jefferson County, New York, that if you're driving a vehicle without insurance, that is a take them into custody and turn them over to the MPs.
Oh no.
Do not pass go, do not collect $200, none of it. Well, I had literally just paid my insurance like 3 days prior. I had the copy of the check because it had already cleared.
Yeah.
I had a copy of the check on because this is before smartphones were really big, but I had it on my computer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sitting in my freaking living room where I could like pull it up and be like, look, no, I paid it. The check's cleared. Here it is. I just hadn't got my new insurance cards. And it turns out that the system hadn't updated.
Oh my
right?
God. What
So
a nightmare, dude.
If I had just taken the time to print out my freaking, but of course my printer was out of ink because whose printer ever has fucking ink when you have ink, right? And it's like $6,000 to go buy new ink. You know what I mean?
$6,000, Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It might as well be $6,000 at that point because it was probably in between paydays. I just paid my insurance. Who's got money for all that stuff when they're in the middle? You know what I mean?
Right.
Priorities. And it sure as fuck wasn't ink. So it should have been, but it wasn't.
So you went to the brig.
So they all right. So they pulled me out of the car. Well, they didn't pull me out. They asked me to get out. Well, you know, I'm like this. I'll be back in a minute, honey. I've only been with her a month and a half. Next thing you know, I'm getting handcuffed.
Real good impression.
Right. Luckily, I knew the cop that came after, who wasn't the happiest that she was cuffing me because I actually knew this broad, the cop, the female.
Right.
I actually knew because I bounced at like 3 different clubs and a bar, 2 different clubs and a bar in town. So I knew these people. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're like, you know this guy. So the guy that actually pulled up was a friend of mine. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? You know, seriously, we can't like turn a blind eye for like literally follow me to my house. I will show you the receipt. Nope. She had already called it in. She had already done the whole game. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, well, the name didn't click. The name didn't click. Fuck you. The name didn't click who it was. Once she got to the car, she knew who the fuck I was. But the damage was already done. So luckily, the cop, my friend, the cop, gave Danielle a ride to my house.
Nice.
To let her in. But still, no cell phone, no nothing.
Right.
Right? She should have been like, I'm fucking out of here. And luckily she didn't. But so they take me to the fucking police station. They don't book me or anything, blah, blah. You know, they don't do that. But I'm in a holding cell for like an hour waiting on the MPs. Then they come, they cuff me, the whole thing. Drive up to the drum. They call my command. My squad leader comes down. My squad leader, again, thank God he's cool as shit. I'm like, hey, Sergeant, I fucking paid the shit. I will show you on Monday. Because this is Saturday night at like 3 a.m. now.
Right.
It's like such a cliche fucking thing, you know?
It's always how it goes.
Right. So Saturday, he's like, what the fuck, dude? What is going on? Him and I were more friends than like, you know, senior subordinate relationship.
Right.
So I was like, I swear to you, I'll bring it in. You can show the first sergeant. Because the first sergeant's going to be like, what the fuck? Because our first sergeant at that time, we called him El Diablo. El Diablo Blanco or El Blanco Diablo. He was fucking, oh my God. He's cool as shit, but fucking fuck.
He's going to be like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? He's, oh, fuck, man. I actually start sweating right now when I think about him a little bit.
Getting a little moist under here.
Yeah.
Whew.
Look, man, he would. He'd strike terror because he'd give you that look. And if you guys knew him, if you could see him, you'd be like, God damn. Homeboy's off. He's like one of those guys that's like just picture like the hardest fucking ranger you've ever seen in like a movie. And just picture that guy like staring you down like, I'm just gonna shit down your neck.
Show up on the blotter, I'm gonna skull fuck you.
Right. Oh, dude, that guy. He's that guy. But so he's like, because the first sergeant's gonna want complete explanation of this bullshit. So it's another one of those Monday morning. I'm in there with my fucking paperwork, thank God, because I printed it all off. Because I went and got ink Sunday, printed it all off, freaking whatever, and stand in front of the first sergeant with my squad leader. And he starts shaking his head and he's like, just get the fuck out of here. It's another one of those.
Yep.
Ooh, and you're just like, thank the fucking Lord, baby. Whew. Tell the truth and the shit fucking happens.
Well,
But so then when I got home at like 3 a.m, I had to call
The truth
a cab.
does work a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I had to call a fucking cab. The whole thing, like cab from Drum to my house. I walk in, Danielle's there, like, what the fuck just happened? So I had to deal with all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Then we had to go through the rigmarole with her parents. You know what I mean? Fuck.
See,
What fuck?
okay, so Heather and I went through a similar incident because I got picked up and she had to bail me out.
Oh no.
So yeah. Oh,
Best would have been if you guys
dude.
were like the best would have been like up in the Berkshires. And her and her dad had to come bail you
right?
out.
Lair Bear would have loved that. He would have been real happy. No, man, we were okay. So I was in these apartments. It's right where Route 1 or where 610 links up with the highway with 95. And then behind the Wawa,
in Virginia.
yeah, in Quantico, in Stafford.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Behind the Wawa, and then
Wawa.
like, and then
God,
like,
I fucking miss Wawa. I have
oh,
to say.
dude, yeah, Wawa and Sheetz are like neck and neck competitors.
I really
in my
do. I
opinion.
really do miss motherfucking Wawa.
Oh,
They
yeah,
had
dude.
Shit there.
They have good shakes. Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, and so we're in the apartments behind the Wawa. There's a hotel in between us and the Wawa. And, oh, dude, we were snowed in there once, and Wawa was the only thing that we could get to, and all sorts of shit. It was awesome. So we trekked over there. Yeah, good times over at a Wawa. But so my girlfriend at the time, who later became my wife, after we endured this trial by fire, we
bail you out.
we went. So we came home, whatever. I had my concealed carry. I set my gun down on the nightstand. And then I'm like, oh, yeah. I remember that shit that we bought earlier. And there were like clothes, groceries. I had to go downstairs and grab the stuff. And so, I mean, we were up on the 3rd or 4th floor. And there's like 40 stairs to get up and down this thing. So I went all the way down to the parking lot, grabbed all of this shit. My arms, you know how it is. You just take bags and you just stack them up your arms, and then you run back up.
Load it up and
Right, exactly. So I'm in the parking lot, and that's what I look like, just standing there with bags on my arms. And I hear pow, pow, pow. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that was only a block and a half, maybe over. And it definitely was a pistol caliber. You know, I was a ballistics instructor and doing all sorts of stuff. Well, I was a CMT at the time. And I was doing a lot of stuff with ballistics. So I knew what it was. And I had a lot of brass. I was cataloging the brass, how firearms and projectiles specifically reacted to different types of material, Kevlar, layers of clothing, and so on and so forth. So I had all of this stuff, right? And it was in my apartment. So anyway, I heard these shots, and I'm down there, and I've got these bags that are hanging on my arms and all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, oh, man, I got to get to my girlfriend who might be freaking out right now. So I go running all the way back upstairs, just hauling ass. I get into the apartment, slam the door behind me, dump off all of the bags, go inside. She's like, oh, my God, what's going on? Like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. I grab the gun, do a quick press check. slide open the balcony door, right? Kind of like lean out the balcony, see what's going on down below, anything else. Slide back in off the balcony. Doo, doo, doo. Stafford County, open up. I'm like, what? And they're like, just like banging consistently on the door. So I go up and I'm like, bullshit, step away from the door. Like all I can see is their eye staring back at me. And there are 7 troopers with riot gear. And the door comes off the hinges towards me. So I like slam backwards, spin around, drop to my knees, spread 10, and then just take me face plant straight into the deck. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? And the guy throws a knee into me, wraps me up. They're clearing everything out. Dude, Heather is like, like she has no idea what the fuck is going on.
Like
she just,
every episode of Cops we've ever seen.
Yes. And I'm just like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? They have me on the couch. I will not talk to any of them. I want my lawyer. They put like 7, 8 different cops in front of me. They show me the brass that they've got in the apartment, which is all that catalog brass. They show me the ballistics. So the one piece of information that I forfeit to them is I say, I am an active duty Marine who is stationed at Weapons Training Battalion, and I train people in marksmanship. And because they need to contact my command if they're going to apprehend me. So they take me to jail. They don't test me for any gunpowder residue. They don't take my clothes to be tested for gunpowder residue or anything. So later on, we're standing there, and we're like across from the judge, and the DA comes out, right? And he's like, hey man, what happened? And I'm like, here's what happened. I came home, forgot my shit, went running back upstairs, and the neighbor lady below me was the one who fingered me as the person. She heard the gunshots, then saw me running and thought I was the one who did the shooting. And so he was like, can you explain the brass? And I explained everything. I was like, look, if I want to shoot a gun, I'm just going to go on base and do my job. That's all that I'm going to do. If I want to go fire a gun, I will take this gun on base and I will shoot it in a controlled environment. I can check out the fucking range myself, for Christ's sake. Like, why would I do this? And so, I mean, the arresting officers were in there. They had like 8 guys, like I said, that were in there sitting where the jury usually would. And so the DA is standing there and he's like, Your Honor, I want you to null process all of this. You've got an active duty Marine, like my chief was there. My staff NCO was there. We were all in alphas. And so the arresting officer is like, sir, with all due respect, what the fuck is going on? And the DA goes, ooh-rah, that's what the fuck is going on. You arrested a Marine. This guy's not a gangbanger shooting up the neighborhood. He's a combat marksmanship instructor. Fuck is wrong with you? And this dude's just like, oh, yeah. But let me tell you what. I woke up in jail, and I was sober when I went to jail. You know what I'm saying? I wake up in jail and I look over and there's this poor bastard chief warrant officer, which I recognize, scratching his dome, hung over his shit. And he turns and looks at me and the whole left side of his face is just black and blue. Like somebody took a nightstick to the side of his dome. He's like, what the fuck? And the lady behind the glass is like, you better mind your manners, sir. I'm like, what the hell is going on around me? Yeah. And now here I am. I'd been dating this girl for only a couple of months now, and I have to remember her phone number. Yeah. So it's like, could I get my cell phone so that I could get my girlfriend's phone number? No, you can't.
Jesus Christ.
No, you can't. I hope you remember that shit. Which, I mean, like, of course, right now I could rattle it off to you. Dude, I had to try like 3 or 4 times going over to the payphone and being like, I just can't remember her fucking phone number. Just put me back in that cell. Man. Just put me back in that box with everybody else. And then I'm like, and I'm going through it. And I'm like, can I get a pen at least to like write combinations down? She's like, no. And I'm like, why not? And she goes, because you could stab it through that motherfucker's eye. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Okay, I'm in jail. Okay, so
stab it through my own eye in a minute.
Well, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, you are talking about I was wrongfully arrested. This was, you got the wrong guy, wrong night. I was chilling with my girlfriend, douche. And now I am sitting in the clink like, fuck. All right, think. What the hell is this? So I'm like reading the inside, and they have bail bondsmen and all sorts of stuff. So I'm talking to this bail bondsman, right? This lady, and she is writing down the combinations and then trying the combinations on her cell phone to see if my wife will contact her back. And then eventually gets her, which I thought was pretty brilliant on my part. I'm just saying. Golf clap. And so we wind up getting her on the phone. And she, like, you know, gets me out of jail or whatever. I'm, like, sitting there holding my belongings and my fucking shoelaces. You know, like every other schmuck. I just, like, I don't know. I got fucking nothing. You know? Like,
God, I got nothing.
right. And then you walk out and you're like, okay, they all processed everything. And I even talked to the DA. I was like, sir, I'm not trying to sound belligerent or anything else. I understand that gentlemen were doing their job, but I had to pay for an attorney here. So what do we got? Well, you can sue the state. Fuck. Pay another attorney to sue the state. Hopefully that wins, and then it'll pay for both of them. And God knows how that's going to turn out. Oh, yeah. It was a clusterfuck, man. Gave me all my guns back. All that shit. They were like, dude, you have a fucking arsenal in your house. And I'm like, yep, I do. They're all locked up. They're storing. You're taking me to jail. This is wrong. Yeah. But when I got out of jail, I was fucking sitting there in my apartment, and I'm like, oh my God, what happens now? And who do I talk to, and who am I going to see? Dude, I didn't see First Sergeant the next week. No, I saw Sergeant Major. No, fuck First Sergeant. Nope. I went over to Sergeant Major, and he was like, you and I are about to talk to the old man, so you might want to tell me what the fuck is going on. I'm like, and it was one of those things. I told him the truth. I was like, I had nothing to do with this. Nothing. I did not discharge a weapon outside of this base. That's wrong. I wouldn't do it. And so, but that was all before the court case and everything else. He's like, it swings on the court case. Did they fuck you? I fuck you. I'm like, oh.
My God.
Sweet. That won't be double jeopardy or anything, which it's not.
Right, but yeah.
Because now they're going to fuck you under the UCMJ. Well, you thought that was bad. You thought the gavel hurt. Hopefully it knocks you unconscious because the big green weenie is about to split you in half. This is happening. We're going deep.
Jesus.
Oh, dude. And so I'm sitting there like, dude, fuck being innocent and having a court case hanging over your head. I have the UCMJ and the goddamn career that I've built thus far hanging over my head as an innocent man. Innocent. I did not do that shit. I did not pull fucking trigger. I had a gun in my hand when they came in the door because I had a gun in my hand. I thought shit was going down in the neighborhood. I mean, anybody, like, I did a press check. I had all 4 of my weapon safety rules and knew what target and lied beyond it, you know, and shit like that. Like, yeah. Oh, man. And then when the DA said, "Hoorah, that's what the fuck is going on here," I was just like, yes. So it's, you know, even if you're innocent until proven guilty, you still have to pay for all that shit.
Which is the dumbest fucking thing ever.
Right. I mean, I'm
It's
like
you're still guilty. It's like, oh, hey, sorry. Yeah. We don't care that we just rape you of all this money.
Right.
There's no recourse for you back to us because we're better than you.
Oh, and I got an adverse fit rep.
Great.
Because I went to court, I got an adverse fit rep. Innocent, proven innocent, still got an adverse fit rep. Fuck you. Fuck you. I did nothing wrong. I didn't do shit. Yeah. I brought that out to legal. That went up the chain of command, the whole 9 yards. They're like, well, you went to court. And I was like, for doing nothing. They went to the wrong guy's house. Yeah, but you went to court. What is it? That doesn't compute. Yeah, but you went to court. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And they gave me the adverse fit rep after I left. They gave me a positive gleaming fit rep to go and check in with. And then I got an adverse fit rep after that. And my sergeant major at the new unit calls me in. saying, why do you have an adverse fit rep? Told him the truth that was going on. And he goes, are you fucking serious? They still gave you an adverse fit rep? And I'm like, yeah. Yep. And he was like, are you going to re-enlist? I'm like, no, I'm going to do this tour with you guys and then I'm out. Okay. Dude. Bullshit. Yes. But the truthful in those matters, I mean, how could you show up if you got an adverse fit rep and you're showing up as a sergeant, you know, and Sergeant Major is asking you for the truth on this one? Like he could have been like, you're going to be guide for like H&S or some shit. Like you're going to be on the fucking log train. Yeah. But instead I went and did the embedded trainer advisor route. And what does an adverse fit rep do to me right now? Hey, I got an adverse fit rep. If I told an employer right now that I got an adverse fit rep, what the fuck would they say? What the fuck is a fit rep? Like, that doesn't matter. You know, so it was one of those things. It was one of those things where it was like, I kindly got showed the doors, so to speak, but it was like, this is some bullshit. Because I got tattoos and I got picked up as an innocent man. I'm essentially being shown the door. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. Am I right? Look at what we're doing now, man. I got a fucking smile on my face.
Yeah.
I ain't wearing pajamas and boots right now. I'm good.
Speaking
but isn't that
of that,
crazy?
I gotta go.
See? This is what we do. We
Time
get into
flies.
it. We get into it. So there you go. Don't be a libo risk, motherfuckers. All right? Don't be getting libo incidents.
If you're gonna tap it, don't wrap it.
There you go. Get
Fight, no flight.
Listen, if you don't wrap it and you tap it, you're going to clap it. I'm just saying.
And then you'll snap it.
There you go. Yep. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to us, iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM. We want to hear your sea stories. We want you on the show. Okay, so if you have stuff that you want to bullshit about, you can use the pseudonym. You want to, I don't know, you want written word, whatever, it doesn't matter. But get in touch with us. Contact at cigarsandseastories.com. That gets to all of us. If you want to talk to one of us individually, mine's Mike at Cigars and Sea Stories. And then we've got Sebastian and Bennett at Cigars and Sea Stories, which then they have a couple ones, Sebastian.Bennett at Cigars and Sea Stories. So that'll go straight to their love den.
Shut the fuck
where
up.
Where they reconnoiter every evening. So anyway, we'd love to have you on the show. And on that note, we cue the music.